Hey everyone, could you please let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly? I've enabled the chat. Could you please let me know if you can hear me? Yep, thank you so much. Thank you so much for confirming. Hey, hello everyone, this is Deepak again from SciSpace. And thank you so much for joining on time. Thank you so much for the responses too. I see a lot of yeses, that's great. We have had a lot of webinars on how we can use SciSpace Agent for, let's say, manuscript writing. It could be for literature review, or it could be even for peer review. But this is going to be one of the detailed session on how we can use SciSpace Agent across research workflows. Let's say, what are the possibilities? What are some of the things that we would have to go via playbook that we have here, right? So before we head start with the session, I would like to know, have you used SciSpace Agent so far? And what are some of the use cases that you have tried with the SciSpace Agent? So the question is, have you used SciSpace Agent? If yes, that's awesome. So the follow-up question is, what are some of the use cases that you have tried with SciSpace Agent? Okay, I got a reply saying, okay, you have used for research proposal writing. That's great. You have used for deep research chat. You have used for deep search and review of literature. Great. Yes, you have used it. Awesome. Let me run a quick poll to understand this use case better. See if you have used SciSpace. Just a minute. I'm sharing a poll, which will help me understand the rhythm of the crowd better. Okay, so you have a poll. Yes. Now we'll see a poll. It just has two questions. The first question is very simple. Have you used SciSpace? It could be across all the tools that we have. It could be the AI writer, the literature review tool, the chat with PDF tool. It could be across any of the tools that we have. That's the first question. And second question is, have you used SciSpace Agent yet? We released somewhere in mid-June, early July. We would like to know what's your kind of exposure to the agent so far. And okay, is it echoing for everyone? Please let me know. Salim says it's echoing. Please let me know if it's echoing for every other person too. No echo on my. Thank you so much for confirming. Great. So because this is a dedicated session on SciSpace Agent, we have a very special person who is delivering it. That's Arpit Ranjan, the person behind designing, developing, ensuring the entire execution cycle of Agent and also ensuring the launch of it. It would be the best resource we could have here inside SciSpace to help us understand how to make the best use of SciSpace Agent. So I'm just giving 10 more seconds for you guys to fill the poll, and then I'm going to hand over the session to Arpit. Before I hand over the session to Arpit, if you have any questions specific to agent, what is SciSpace Agent, Arpit is going to answer it. He would be the best person. So if you have any questions for Arpit, you can right now drop that in the chat, because later all the questions that you will have to ask in the Q&A section, which you'll see in the toolbar. Dismiss. Okay, the very first question I've already got. What is the difference between SciSpace and SciSpace Agent? Yes, we're going to answer it. I'm ending the poll. So I'm sharing the results with everyone. Let me be transparent with this. Of those who answered, 94% of you say you have used SciSpace, but just 1/3 of you say that you have used SciSpace Agent. So this session will also help you understand what are some of the use cases that best when you use it on SciSpace Agent, right? I'm stop sharing, and the session is being recording, and I'm handing over the session to Arpit.
Recording in progress.
Hey everyone. So yeah, let's just get started. I'll share my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen? Is it visible? Deepak, can you
Yes,
confirm?
yes, your screen's visible. It would be great if it's in full screen. That's it.
Okay, cool. Just a second. I'll move to full screen. Okay, is it visible in full screen?
Yeah, it's visible. Guys, you can let us know in the chat if Arpit's voice is clearly audible for everyone. Oh, thank you, Mudula. Great. Thank you, everyone, for confirming. Yeah, great. Yeah, over to you, Arpit.
Okay, cool. So we'll get started, with the guide to SciSpace Agent, use cases, demos, and best practices, right? So during the presentation, I might have to, switch to a browser and show you a bunch of executions, and then we'll come back to the presentation again, right? Because most of the demo is going to be, on the SciSpace website, right? Okay, so let's get started. Uh, okay, so my name is Arpit Ranjan. I work as a senior product manager at SciSpace. I have been in SciSpace for over 5 years, and I've seen SciSpace get built from scratch, right? And I've overseen product execution for major products and tools that SciSpace have built, like Copilot, Literature Review, and now the AI agent. Okay. Okay, let's move on. So what we'll cover today, right? So we'll look at, first look at few of the basic things about agent. We'll understand what agent is and what are different components of the agent. And then we'll run and see the execution of bunch of use cases on agent, right? So I've listed down around 6 use cases on agent that we'll see the execution for, which is, multi-database search using agent, literature review. We'll see how standard and deep review mode works, research gap analysis, creating research drafts, data analysis, creating websites and posters. So I've covered these 6 use cases only, but agent can practically do anything, right? And you can try and see if it works. If it does not, you can tell us, and then we'll try and fix it. But the agent is built for anything research, right? So you can try out and do any kind of research related task on agent, right? And that's why it's built for. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so coming to the agent basics. Okay, so how researchers can benefit from moving to agent from tools, right? So let's first understand what is the difference between, so-called tool and an agent, right? So usually when you look at a tool, it has a bunch of functionalities, and the tool is limited by the functionalities that are built, right? Whereas an agent, it's not limited by the functionalities, right? So whatever you try and ask the agent to do, it will do it, right? So SciSpace agent is very similar to, if I could give you an example which most of you might have used, consider ChatGPT, right? So in ChatGPT, you go ahead and type anything in natural language and it executes it, right? So SciSpace agent is similar, but it has some special abilities with, a general purpose agent like ChatGPT or Anthropic might not have, right? So major difference between a tool and an agent is a tool is limited by functionality, a agent is not. You can ask anything to agent and it will do it, right? The second difference is agent allows you to run a combination of tasks at once, right? So let's say, you want to find a bunch of research papers, then take the first 10 research papers, extract information out of it, create a table, and then write a report out of it, right? In latex format. Let's add latex as well, right? So these are all the things that you want to do, one after the other, right? So for this, you might need a separate tool for, let's say, doing literature review, a separate tool for maybe creating a poster or creating a report. So multiple tools would be needed to execute each and every task here, right? But in agent, what you can do is you can type in each and everything that you need to do execute, one after the other in one single query. And agent will understand all of it and execute it step by step, right? Now for this, we'll see an example on how it's done, right? So I'll just go back to the browser and show you an example. Okay, so I've run a complex query. We will not go into details of this query, but yeah, there are multiple things that I've asked the agent to do in this query. And you can see it's all separated by a semicolon. So one task here, then another task for creating a table, then another task, and finally write a report, right? So there are around 3-4 tasks here, right? So once you give this query to the agent, what it will do, it will try and understand what all things you want to do, and then create a to-do list for itself, right? So as you can see, it analyzed the task requirements and created a to-do list. Let's look at the to-do list, right? Okay. So it created a to-do list, and then it, gave all the bullet points to itself that, okay, these are the things that I want to execute in order to complete this particular task, right? And once this to-do list is created, it will start the execution one by one. So it starts searching for papers on different, databases. And as soon as it starts executing, it will also start checking all of these once it's completed, right? So it follows this to-do list to complete all the tasks. And once all the tasks in the to-do list are completed, it will then check everything and give you the final set of output files, right? So here in this case, it has given a final summary. Okay. So it's taking a bit of time to load, but yeah. So basically it writes the summary, but the funda is it can take a bunch of, tasks, bind it together and run it step by step, one by one, right? Okay. So this was one example. Now, uh, let's look at the second point in agent basics, which is intro to prompt builder and agent gallery, right? Okay, so now we'll go to SciSpace homepage. Okay, so there are two, UX that we have created on the website. One is prompt builder and one is agent gallery. The purpose for both is to help the users or anyone who comes to SciSpace, to help them understand that what all different types of use cases agent can cover, right? Or agent can handle. It can be single use cases or a combination of use cases that I showed you in the previous example, right? So let's look at both UX, and the aim is to help you understand what all things the agent can cover, and that's why we have built these two interactions, right? So first one is prompt builder, which is here, right? So it has all the different use cases. As you can see, you can click show more and then you'll be able to see more. So what it does is, if you click multiple of these, it will create a single query, for doing all those, multiple things that you have clicked. Okay, so let's try one and then we'll understand it better. Let's click search papers. So it added it here, search research papers on, here you can enter your topic. Then I'll click write a report to search research papers on your given topic and write a report on findings. And let's do PPT presentation. Okay. And then create a PowerPoint presentation. So this is something that you can play around with, and it will add a placeholder. You can enter your topic, let's say cancer, and then you can press enter. It will run that query, right? Now this helps you understand what all different use cases the agent covers, and then you can very easily create a query and then just add your topic on top of it, right? Okay, so this is basically prompt builder, and then we'll now go to agent library as well, right? So as you can see, there are a few examples here, but we'll just go to the detailed library to understand it better. Taking a bit of time to load. Am I audible to you guys? Deepak, can you confirm?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. I think there is some issue. It's not loading. Okay, we'll come back to it later. Okay. Uh, okay. So like I already showed you, right? So next point is natural language query to planned execution. So I think I showed you in the previous example as well, where when you give a complex query which has multiple things and multiple tasks, it first create a to-do list, right? So that's how the agent plan everything based on your given query so that it can do a very structured step-by-step execution. And wherever there is an intermediate output, right, it can create an intermediate output file and, show it to you as well, right? So that's what this point is. You type the query in natural language and it does planned execution for it. Right. Okay, I'll just go back. SciSpace Agent UI walkthrough and using credits. Okay, so I think let's see if it's stable. Okay. Okay, so I'm on home page. I'll just start from the starting point and run a query, and step by step, we'll see the different actions and UI components and features that are available in the agent that we can use, right? So I'll just run a very basic query, right? So let's say find papers on cancer. Okay. Okay, so before I run the query, I would tell you a few things which you will be able to see here, right? So for running agent, you actually need credits, right? So we have 3 plans, and based on your plan or based on your tier, you get a bunch of credits, right? So as you can see, I have around 31,000 credits, right? And every time you run a query, based on how complex the task is and how many calls we have to do internally to LLMs or to external databases, we calculate that and then we deduct the query, the credits accordingly, right? So I'll just run a query now. So send. Okay, so it started running the query. On the left side, you can see all the threads that I have previously run. Okay, now it started streaming. It says, okay, I'll go find papers from all these different databases. It is parallelly running all the queries. Okay. It shows the agent is running. So yeah. And then there is a live activity tab on the right. So as soon the agent starts running, every intermediate output that you get, you'll start seeing here. And when the next intermediate output comes, this screen will change and it will start showing the next output, right? Now there is a, bar at the bottom. You can press left and right to see, all the different outputs at different stages. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the search has completed. It has created a combined table with all the results. And if I click this, this is the final, results file. I can see, all the, sorry, really sorry. Okay, so you can see all the papers here, right, in this table. Okay, now here, after you got the result, you also got a bunch of follow-up questions, which you can click and, do a follow-up task, or you can just type in here as well and perform a follow-up task, right? Now, on the right side, you see live activity and outputs. So live activity, as I explained, it shows all the intermediate outputs and the final output, and you can see all the intermediate outputs by clicking here, right? So you can see that SciSpace search full text output is this, papers from SciSpace full text search, then papers from Google Scholar search. So all these intermediate tables that got fetched are being shown here. If you go to the outputs tab, you'll see all the tables or all the files that were created, that they will come here, right, under all files. So you can click and also view this, right? Now there is also an option to export this table. So if you export it, it will download a CSV file which will have all the papers and all the data points for that particular paper, right? So yeah, so these are some of the main interactions and functionalities. A few other things, you can also share this. You can make it public and copy link and share it with anyone. They can also, see the execution and the outputs of the thread. right? So yeah, so these are, all the basic functionalities, nothing complex here. Okay. Okay, we'll go back to the presentation. Okay. Yeah, so we had the basic UI walkthrough. Now we'll start covering each of the use cases and see how the execution happens or has happened, and we'll try and understand it, right? Okay, so multi-database search using agent. Okay, so I already showed you in the previous query, but yeah, I'll show you again. So this is a pre-executed query. I've kept, all the examples as pre-executed query because I don't want to, I don't want you guys to wait on the webinar for long. Okay, so we'll see this execution. Okay, so when I say find papers on cancer, uh, what SciSpace Agent does is it tries to find papers on all the popular and prominent and trusted databases for academic research, right? We always try to collect all the recent papers on SciSpace database as well. But in case some things are missed out, we ensure that you get those results, and that's why we also search on Google Scholar, PubMed, ArcSiv, and databases like that, right? So as you can see, when I did a query for finding papers, it did a SciSpace search, it did a SciSpace full text search, it did Google Scholar search and PubMed search, right? So it searches all the different databases and then combines all the results in one single combined paper table with re-ranked results, right? Which you can, see here, right? So it removes all the duplicates as well when it's combining all the papers, and then, it shows the result in one combined results table, right? So that's how multiple database search works. Now, there are some users who want to include some other websites which may be not known to us or just known to them. For example, let's say if you want to search on Science Direct only, right? So what you can do is you can just mention find papers on cancer on Science Direct, right? So I've included an example here as well. To find papers on cancer on Science Direct. So it goes to Science Direct specifically, opens that website, goes to search, types in the query, and then searches for paper and gets the paper and shows you here, right? Now, that's why I told you that a agent is different than a tool because a agent can do everything which you tell the agent to do, right? It's not limited by the functionalities and feature which are built for it, right? So if it would have been a tool, it would be limited by, let's say number of websites it can go to and number of databases it can access. But here you can just mention any website and it will go to that website and find papers for you. And then it will collect all the papers. It will show you, the papers in a table, right? So now we'll just scroll down and look at the final table here. Okay, so this is the final table. So yeah, it has found all the papers. These are paper names, type, which journal it was published in, and publication date, and then authors and access type as well, right? So pretty good information. Similarly, you can mention any other databases or websites, and it will go to that and get stuff for you, right? So yeah, so it's again not limited by the databases as well, right? So this is multi-database search using agent. Okay, now we'll go to the next use case. Okay, so literature review, standard and deep mode, right? Let's go back to the home page again. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a CTA here called deep research or deep search, right? If you click this, it will get selected, right? And now when you type in a query and submit, it will consider this deep research button to be selected and it will do the tasks and queries accordingly, right? Now I have already ran two queries, one normal query, one deep research query, and we'll compare, the execution and outputs for both, right? Okay, I'll just open these two and then we'll see the differences between the two. Okay, close this. find papers on cancer, and this is also find papers on cancer. Okay, so this is a normal execution. I think we already saw this. So multiple database search, found papers, re-ranked results, and the final table. Okay. Now, if we do the exact same query using deep search, what would happen is the agent will read your query, and it will analyze it to see if you have mentioned enough details in the query or not, right? So now if you see this query, this is a very basic query, right? So now the agent analyzed this query, and then it mentioned that it would be better if you include these possible details in your query. Now this is optional. If you want to include it, you can include it. If you don't want, you can exclude it. But it tells you that what would make your query better, and your research more detailed, right? So yeah, so based on your query, it kind of asked some clarifying questions. Do you want to include this or this or this or this, right? So for this example, what I've done is I've just, so it also gave a bunch of suggestions for each of the questions. So to run this query, I just picked up one option from each, and then I pasted them as comma separated values. And then I just submitted it just for the demo, right? You can give specific answers for each of the questions. So I submitted all of that answer, and then it started executing, right? Now if you see here, the different thing than the previous query is here it says deep search completed. So it actually did a different execution, which is called deep search. And what happens inside that execution is it actually recreates the whole query. So it takes this and it creates another query, and it does a search based on that. So as you can see here, I'll show you the complete query here. Okay, so let me just try and zoom in so that you guys can see. Okay, so if you can see this query, which is in the tooltip, it's a rewritten query by agent. So it rewrites the query, and it does a search and then finds paper, right, based on your inputs. Now it not just creates one single rewritten query, but it creates 5 different rewritten queries, and it does 5 different searches, right? So if you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it has written 5 different queries, and it has done 5 different parallel searches on SciSpace to find more papers so that no papers are missed out from the search, right? So it is more exhaustive in terms of finding relevant papers. So that's deep research SciSpace. After that is done, it also does all the other queries that was done, which was Google Scholar, PubMed, Arxiv, clinical trial searched. So all the different databases as well, right? So it includes results from that as well, right? And then again, similar to the previous execution, it gives you a combined and re-ranked results. Okay, so that's basically the difference between a normal query and a deep review query, right? Okay, so this was standard and deep mode. We'll move to the next use case, which is research gap analysis, right? Okay, I'll open this and then we'll see the execution. Okay, so I've given a query, perform a research gap analysis on brain cancer, summarize what is already known, what is unclear and conflicting, and major gaps that future research should investigate, right? Okay. Now, based on this query, it started searching for papers, right? Because the task has to be backed by research. Found papers, gave the results. It extracted insights from top papers. Then it started doing the research gap analysis, right? So it did all the analysis, unclear and conflicting areas, right? So it did everything. I'm just scrolling down quickly. It gave all the references, and then it gave the analysis report, right, in MD5 with all the citations as well. You can hover over it and then find the citation. Again, you can, choose to download this MD file as well, right? Yeah, and it has proper format, proper references, all backed by proper citations. Different examples, what the agent can handle, right? So this is the research gap. Now we will go to, okay, so we have covered this research gap analysis and then, okay. So creating research drafts, right? So I've, just added one example, but I have added uh, queries for, different use cases, other use cases as well. We'll look at report writing query, but you can also create manuscript, proposals, grants, anything, right? Uh, okay. Okay. So we'll just look at this query now. Okay, going to the top, generate a clear data-driven technical report in LaTeX format. Okay. Explain findings, implications, and limitations in research on cancer, right? So there is a very interesting input that I've given here, which is, generate a report in LaTeX format. Okay, so let's see if it is able to do that or not. Again, started with searching all the databases. We'll go down. Okay, so it did all the steps. Going down, compiling the LaTeX report to PDF. So it created a report, and then now it's creating a LaTeX report in PDF format, right? So did all the executions. So these are all the code that the agent is running to, to perform the execution. So in the background, what actually is happening is the agent has access to its own desktop or computer where there is a file structure. It creates file, saves file, writes code there, and then executes all the task, right? So internally, that's how things, work. Okay, so if I scroll down, now we have a output file. So I asked the agent to create a report in LaTeX format. And when we open this, you'll see a very beautiful report created in LaTeX format, right? Abstract, background, objective, key findings. Okay, beautifully written contents table, right? If I scroll down even further, let's scroll down. List of figures, a list of tables, current state of cancer research, background and rationale, research objectives, right? So it created a very, detailed report. Now, if you want specific things to be in your report, or if you want to give a specific direction, you can, also include those things in this initial query, or you can just, ask a follow-up question. So this is a shared version. I'll just go to the chat version. Okay. So once you have, asked given a query, you got the output. You can also here ask a follow-up question and make modifications to, whatever output you have got, right? So if you want to add any additional things which you may have missed, you can do that via follow-up question as well, right? Again, you can download this LaTeX report as well from here. Okay, it's downloaded. Okay, going back. So you guys can also try all these use cases. All these links that I've added here are also public, so you can open that and view that again as well. Okay, so that's research writing. Now we'll come to data analysis. Okay, so for this, I'll open this as well. So for this, what I did was I added a CSV file, and then I tried doing data analysis on top of it, right? So I've used a very simple use case, simple CSV, simple data, and a simple task. But you can try with very different, CSVs and very complex tasks as well. It will, definitely do it. I'll just show you, this CSV, and then we'll see how the execution has happened. Okay, let's see if it loads here. Otherwise, we'll just download and open it. Let me open the CSV here. Are you able to see the CSV file?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So, I just created a, simple CSV, user ID, country, session duration. So this is the data of website visits, right? The user ID, country, session duration, page visited, conversion, whether the user paid or not, right? And this is 100 rows of data, right? So now I uploaded the same CSV here and asked a question, which countries are the most valuable from a conversion and engagement perspective, right? So, okay, I'll just move this here. Okay. So yeah, so what the agent did was I gave the CSV, it downloaded the CSV, wrote a Python code to analyze the CSV. As you can see here, it has written, a Python code. So it has written the code to analyze the CSV to do data analysis, and then it will analyze the data and give you outputs, right? Now, I did not ask to create visualizations, but it also did that, right? So if you can see here, it created visualizations as well. So if I scroll down, after all the execution the agent has done on its own computer, if we look at the final output, it says India is your most valuable market. It has given a score, followed by Germany, Canada, etc. It has created a table for the top 4 countries, given a key insight, right? If I scroll down, it has explained everything in detail with reasoning. And let's look at the output files, what all output files we have gotten, right? Okay, so it has created it in a report format as well, which is again exportable or downloadable. It has created few charts as well for analysis, right? So I'll not go in detail these charts. While you are running your own queries, you can see, what all things the agent is able to do. But yeah, it has created charts. I think it has created some more charts here as well, right? So India, Germany, Canada, Japan, key metric comparison, engagement, session pages, right? Here it has, created a chart for converting and non-converting, countries in terms of average session, page visited, and engagement score, right? And then, country ranking by value score, right? So it actually did more than what we asked for, right? So it did a very detailed analysis for the CSV that was uploaded, and it created charts as well. Okay, so yeah, so you can try uploading or just, giving random data set and try different things if the agent is able to, perform analysis and tasks or not, right? Okay, so this was data analysis. Now we'll go to few more things. Website. So this is very interesting. So usually you'll see in the market that there are dedicated agents which build websites, right? And they are very good at it. But as a researcher does not need complex things on their website. They just need simple website with simple information on their website which they can quickly publish or share with their peers, right? So SciSpace Agent also has that ability to build basic website with all the information that you have given, and it publishes it as well, which you can just copy the link and share with anyone, right? So we'll see one of those executions where a website was created. Okay, scroll up. Okay, so create a conference management website with submission portal, peer reviews workflow, automated scheduled generation, and live streaming for hybrid session. Okay, so we have asked a lot of complex things to the agent to do. We'll see if it's able to do everything. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Okay. Okay. So it has done all the execution again on its own computer. It wrote a bunch of code. So anybody, any of you, if they are familiar with HTML and the different types of files that are created for building website, you'll find all these extensions familiar like HTML, JS, and things like that, right? So it created a website. It wrote the code and then it published the website as well. So here is the link to the website. As you can see, it loads on the right side, has created website. I'll open in a new tab. You guys can see properly. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically the website. If I scroll, it has a bunch of information. Okay, submit your paper, access dashboard. Yeah, reviews, start review. So I did not give a lot of information for the website creation, right? But still, it took a lot of assumption and just created a dummy website with a lot of different details and information. But if you are creating a website and you have specific data points that you need to show, you can, actually give those data points and it will create website accordingly. Now, if you have, let's say, a bunch of PDFs, you can also upload those PDFs. Let's say if you want to create your own portfolio website and you have full text of your research paper that you have written, you can actually upload those research paper in the SciSpace agent and ask to create a website where those PDFs are, linked. And it will, create a PDF viewer as well on the website where you can, or anybody can come and view those PDFs. So you guys can, maybe try different things with the agent and see if it works or not, right? So yeah, so this is the kind of website that agent can create. Uh, Now we'll go back and look at the last use case, which is research poster generation. Right, I'll just open this. So in the previous thread as well, when we were doing data analysis, you guys saw that even when we did not ask for a poster generation, it still did data analysis and created a research poster, right? Not specifically a research poster, but a kind of poster where all the different charts were there, right? Uh, research poster, I'm assuming, would be slightly different. So we ran a query, design a poster for a psychology symposium summarizing an experiment on memory retention. Okay, and some additional details. Okay, so we ran this again. To do was created for literature search, insight extraction, content creation, and then finally poster preparation. Right. Okay, so we'll scroll down and see the kind of poster it was able to create. Okay, so as you can see here, it actually created a very interesting one-page poster with all the key information, and it also included a QR code, contact info, and institution logo. The logo might not be loading, so if you provide your own attachment, it might add it to the poster. But yeah, this is, a very beautifully done one-page research poster, right, with all the information that was asked for, right? So similar, so these are very, minimum set of use cases that I have shown you here, right? There are n number of cases that you can run on agent and try out, right? So I would suggest that you try it yourself. I've shown you very simple queries, to keep things simple, but try different queries, complex queries, long queries, and see for yourself whether it works for you or not. Okay. I think that's it. Over to Deepak. Deepak, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that was it from my side.
Okay. Enough. If we can stop sharing screen, that would be great. I can quickly get into questions.
Sure.
Okay. So we have around 23, 25 questions. I'll slowly take one at a time. Guys, while I'm taking these questions, feel free to ask few more in the Q&A section itself, but because we might miss a lot if it's in the chat, right? Okay. Wait, so the very first question is, okay, does it include Scopus database?
So I would say yes. So if you say that, okay, find papers on your specific topic and then add Scopus at the end saying you find it on Scopus, it will go to Scopus, search and find papers on Scopus.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. The next is Realize there's some paper. Okay. Apollos, I think his name is Apollos. Yeah. He's mentioning that he's finding certain fake DOI. How can this be fixed?
So ideally, you should not find any fake DUI. So if you're getting it, that's a issue that we need to, look on a priority basis and solve it, right? So you can share that thread ID or you can share that thread link with the customer support by going to the website, and then we'll immediately look into it.
Got it. Okay. So indeed, how valid the result get by agent compared to the backend work will not take the backend questions. Okay. When I try agents, they say the agent is on a coffee break. What does it actually mean?
So that means that you have exhausted your credits for running agent, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to either wait for completion of that month to get new credits that you can use, right? Or you need to upgrade to a higher plan, right? So usually a free user gets 100 credits every month. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're a premium user, then you get more credits. Advanced user get even more credits.
Got it. So there's an interesting question. So Sunny Sharma says, how to download the generated website file and use it practically if I have my own dedicated host domain?
So currently the website generation has very limited, uh, you know, functionalities on top of it, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the website that was generated, that was also a very basic version, right? SciSpace does not have a lot of abilities in terms of website creation like Lovable or, tools
Mm-hmm.
like that. So right now it's not possible, but we usually look at all the requests that we get, and if there is a particular thing where there are a lot of requests, we build that feature. So if we get
Got
enough requests on that, we'll definitely look into it and build it.
understood. The next question is, why does the search stop at 100 papers?
Okay, so we have limited our search results to 100 papers, right? Now that can be extended. We are planning to, give more papers in higher tiers. Now, the reason for limiting it to 100 is every execution that happens within agent consumes, a lot of credits. So we decided and we took a call that, if we limit it to 100 papers, user will be able to get enough value out of the results and still able to, do other tasks with the remaining credits. So we don't want the user to consume all the credits in finding a lot of papers, right? Because, once you start doing a lot of different queries, your credits will, start depleting, right? So we wanted to save credits for other tasks as well and not consume everything on, paper results and paper search.
Got it. Okay. One of the interesting questions on credits I've seen so far. So, how does the credit exhaust work? Does it depend on the research use case? Does it depend on the research use case or what I ask?
So the credit consumption does not depend on topic. It depends on the kind of task the agent has to do, right? So internally, if it's writing a lot of code, let's say, if you have, let's say, asked the agent to create a very complex website,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, it will write a lot of code. So the more code the agent writes, the more credits will get consumed, right? So
Got,
that's the logic, and it's not, topical. It's not based on which field you're doing research on.
got it. Okay. So, what are the chances of having overlap of same literature in the output generated?
Uh, so like one of the examples I showed you, right, where the agent was doing tool calls on multiple different database.
Yeah.
And finally, we created a consolidated table with all the results. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is in the final table, we remove all the duplicates.
Mm-hmm.
So in the final table, if you look at it, you would not find any duplicates.
Got it. Okay, so there are multiple queries with respect to how do you generate reports? Basically, how do you read the different kinds of reports and how do you export them? Could you please just Share your screen and show them.
Okay, let me.
There are two questions. Number one is how do I read different kinds of output and how do I export them individually without losing the format?
Sorry, first question is how do we create different kinds of
How do
out?
I read the different kinds of output
Okay, got it.
it has given?
Okay, let me share my screen. I'll just open one of the threads. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll consider this. And so when you say different types of outputs, there are multiple ways to read those, right?
Yeah.
One way is when you are looking at the messages on the left, right? If you see all these layouts, these are clickable. So if you click this on the right, that particular intermediate output will load. So first to do was created, then search SciSpace happened. So if you click this, you'll see the SciSpace search table with SciSpace paper results, right? Then we have full text. If you click this, it will load. So that's one way. Okay. The second way is all the files or all the intermediate outputs that are generated. If you go to the outputs tab, you'll be able to see them here. So whatever files you got at the bottom, they come under the folder called final outputs, right? So this folder, this website, and this report are the final outputs.
Mm-hmm.
It here. But all the intermediate files that got created or results that you got or the code that was written, if you click all files, you'll be able to get all of those here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can they download the file individually and everything at once?
So there are two options. One, you can click download all files and download all the files all at once, or
Mm-hmm.
you can click individual files, right? And you can go here on the right and
Yeah.
then okay. So there is a
Okay.
download CTA here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should increase. Okay.
Oh, it's better
Download.
now. Yeah.
So if you click this, you can download it as Markdown or PDF.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful. Okay, the next question is, does SciSpace accept JSON files?
So SciSpace agent, right? So
Yeah.
I would say yes. Uh, I personally haven't tried specifically uploading a JSON file and doing queries on it. But like I said, the difference between tool and an agent is tool is limited by functionality, agent is not, right? So
Okay.
any file you upload, agent will take that file to its own system. It will
Mm-hmm.
write code to analyze that file and give you the output. So
Got it.
the short answer is yes, it's possible. You can do, all types of tasks on JSON file as well.
Okay. So, what type of document is better for agent to completely go through and understand the context better? Is it PDF or the doc, DOCX?
So we personally haven't seen a difference in quality of output
Mm-hmm.
depending upon the format of the input file.
Yeah.
But if you see such things happening, then please let us know. We'll, look into it. But we don't expect any difference in quality based on the, input file format.
Okay. So, yeah, sir, you have asked a question on how can you get only papers from PubMed? You can just mention that in the prompt. The next one is it possible to know in advance how many credits would agent consume before running a task?
So it's very difficult, right? So um, we can do an estimation,
Yeah.
show it upfront. That's possible, but a lot of times when we show estimation and it consumes more, in some of the cases, you know, we get complaints, right? So that's why we don't show it. So it's very difficult, and one of the reason for saying it's
Yeah.
difficult is because agent can sometimes take a direction and find that okay, there might be some other direction which might give a better output, or
Okay.
in some cases it might take a direction, it fails there and it takes another direction, and this kind of thing happens with every agent, right?
Okay.
And in those cases, it kinds of end up consuming more credits than
Yeah.
is expected. right? So that's why it's very difficult to predict how much consumption will happen.
Understood. So that just two more questions. The next is, are agent output treated as AI generated content?
Uh, I would say yes, because again, AI is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but SciSpace also has a tool where we have a AI detector where you can upload files and then do AI detection, and then you can use another functionality on top of it to humanize it, right?
Yeah.
Now, that ability we have not introduced in agent right now,
Mm-hmm.
but once the output is generated, there should be a ability in agent in future where you can humanize it. But again, that also won't be 100% undetected,
Understood.
So there is always a possibility. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So the last question, summing up multiple touch points the user have asked. Uh, what consumes credit and what doesn't consume credit on SciSpace?
So anything that you do inside AI agent consumes credit,
Okay.
and anything you do outside AI agent does not consume credits.
Okay. I think, guys, those were the questions that we have chose to answer, and there were a few questions on, okay, do we have PubMed? Yes. Show me the export button. I think Arpit did a very clean presentation on that. I've just shared a poll which will help us understand how helpful was this webinar for you guys, and also how confident you are to explore SciSpace Agent now. I'll just take 20 more seconds so that you can just fill the poll. A few things to wrap up. Number one, the presentation which Arpit used, I'll be sharing it because few people have asked it, so I'll be sharing it over email. This recording will be uploaded on SciSpace YouTube channel. Once it's live, you'll get an email regarding the same. And those stayed until end, you will receive a certificate of participation from RM. So these three are note from mine. I've made a note of it, and all the questions that you have asked in the Q&A and few amidst in the chat, those will be answered in the SciSpace Reddit community. So with that being said, thank you so much, Arpit. I understand you had to set aside some work and focus on webinar prep. Thank you so much for doing that, and thank you so much everyone for joining on time and staying until end. It means a lot. I'm just ending the poll in 5 seconds and sharing the results with everyone. In the poll, showing the results with everyone. Yeah, this is what we have. So 93 to 92% of you have said, yeah, the webinar was helpful. And 88% of you have said that you're confident enough to explore SciSpace Agent. Great, awesome. So we'll also share some of the use cases that we would want you to try and get a quick glimpse of how good the SciSpace Agent is that you'll be receiving over email. Thank you so much, Arvind. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. See you soon in the upcoming webinar, and stay tuned for more updates that you'll be receiving in the inbox regarding the recording, certificates, and the resources. Thank you so much. See you once again. Take care, everyone.
Recording stopped.